Welcome back, everybody, to the Boost of Vega Racing channel. Today we're going to get the transmission mocked up in here in the chassis. We're going to make our new transmission Crossmember, get the mount set up on it, get everything tacked up. Of course, we'll have to take our engine stand mount off the engine, and we'll get started and pull a couple measurements and get our tube cut and notched. And of course, like I always say, we'll just buff it in to get it to fit nice. It's better to cut it a little long than a little too short and lose all the tubing. Let's get started. Okay, let's get an inside to inside measurement here. It's like 17 3/8. So we'll get a piece of tubing and we'll go ahead and cut it and cut our copes on it and get her set in there. How close we are. That is nice. Like it don't get much better than that. Some light buffing and we're in business. Sometimes you get lucky. Ooh, they've been bad. And yes, there is 2 different size bolts in this. You know why? Because that's what I had. We'll get this out of the road, and then I'll show you what not to do. And we'll get this transmission set up in here and see what it looks like. I'll probably pull the converter off because there's really no reason to have it on there. So let's do that. All right, let's get this tranny set up in here. I'm going to show you the best and easiest way there is for your back to pick this up. Oh, maybe. Piece of cake. All right, now you gotta get it up in there and get a bolt started. Always bag your bolts, then you'll have them. It's the worst thing in the world. You're scrambling around going, where did I put this? Okay, so I'll probably set that board in front of this. I'm gonna get the tranny a little higher. Like that. Now, you can use the board as a pivot point. Like that. Slide this back. Let that come down just a little. Now, if you remember from last week, we set the engine at 3 degrees downhill slope. So that's what I want to kind of keep it at. The height may go up and down. We may lower it a little bit more or whatever. But regardless, I've got it, everything placed kind of where I want it. Cylinder 1 is going to be basically in line with this front axle. So it's slid back. The transmission mount's not necessarily going to move forward or backward anymore. Height, as far as the mount, which I actually may convert this into a solid mount, but we'll see. Let's get these bolts in here. We'll get our tube in, see where everything wants to be. Oop. I could come way down. So after some short deliberation, I definitely want to lower this engine or transmission. I would like to drop it about at least another 2 inches lower. Multiple reasons, but for the main thing, the chassis car itself, based off the jig, when I done this, I originally had it sitting a lot lower on the chassis jig, and it didn't give me much room. It made it kind of tough to work on. So I kind of spaced the car up higher, and I need to take that into consideration. So realistically, I would like for the car, the pinch weld seam of the rocker to be roughly 4.5 inches off the ground. Right now, if this was ground level on the chassis jig, it's like 7 inches. So, I mean, realistically, the pan is sitting right at the top edge of the chassis, the tube side. So I could lower it a fair amount more. So I think that's what I'm going to do. But there again, this is why we tack everything together. So for now, I'll put you on like a time lapse, and I'll undo the motor mounts, cut the tack welds off, and get those out of the way. I'll put the hoist back under the front of the engine, and I'll set a board up underneath the tranny and kind of balance it out. We'll have to center it back up, but I'm going to get this tranny mount, I think, locked down, and then I can shorten the tubes back up to fit the engine mounts that we made last week. So let's do that. Okay, so cut in a little bit of a dilemma. I kind of anticipated this. So as you can tell, your boy's kind of thick. So I have I think it's 18 wide seat. Let's see. Yeah, 18-ish hip wide. So the drive shaft, obviously, is right on the edge of it. Well, when I welded these door bars in, I kind of looked at it kind of weird. I didn't really say nothing, obviously, on camera, but they're kind of in like a good 2 inches off the seal of your weather strip edge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these loose, take these loose, take them off. We'll probably have to build another set of door bars, is what it is. This one for sure. These ones I might be able to use. So what I'm going to do is I'll use this one for a template, and I'll take it over to my buddies and get another piece of tube, and I'll build this. But what I'm going to do is I'll put a bend in it here to kind of shove it out more. So then it'll draw these bars over, and I can get the seats 1.5 to 2 inches off the rocker right now. I'd like for the seat to be tight against the rocker. So with that being said, we'll continue. The seat I just wanted to throw in to check it out. So I'll take that out. We'll get these bars clipped out real quick. I'll continue on with the training mount. So we'll pick up here in a second. Go ahead and mark these. I guess not that it matters, but I'll mark them top and lower. Put the seat back in it because I'd rather fit it to it, fit the bars to the seat. It's way better. Okay, so messed around with the side to side, up and down, the transmission and the engine. So now I'm going to picked up some flat strap today at Home Depot. So I'll use it for my transmission mount for the tab for the 2 bolts, just some 2-inch. So just a quick measurement here. I'll call it 4 inches. So we'll get this cut up, and I'll get it tacked on the tube. It's up underneath the 2x4. You can't see it right now, but I got it up there, and we'll get this cut and tacked, and then I'll mark my 2 holes and drill and bolt. Or might drill and bolt first. Probably would make more sense to do that, wouldn't it? Alright. Guess I can get my tube squared up too. See how this is going to go. Yeah. Alright. So we'll crawl up under here. Measure bolt pattern. And then we'll drill our holes for that. Inch and a half center to center. Okay, so we'll mark inch and a half bolt pattern here. So we'll mark this 2 inches. Get our center line. So should be 3/4 inch. So I'll just pick the 2 here. We'll go over here and mark 2 3/4. Mark 1.25 inches here. And see, we'll just line up the 2. You can see right here with the diamond, that's 1.5 inches. So mark our center lines for those. And we'll know that this is sitting in the center. And then also, we need to mark the center here, lengthwise. I keep holding it in front of me, I'm sorry. So this is a factory uncut edge, so I'd imagine it's pretty true. Not that I'm a bad cut, but we can leave a mark down here. Curve square up. Line up our dots. There's our bolt pattern. Drill these 2 holes. And then we'll get it tacked up. Alright, got our holes drilled. Get this thing bolted up. These are, I believe, metric bolts, like a, I don't know, M12 or something. And I don't have a socket or a wrench. I have a crescent wrench, or as I call them, French wrench. Because, you know, croissant. I believe it's from France. Get these snugged up. And we'll slide the tube over so it sits kind of flush there at the top. Now we'll go back and I'll put gussets on this tab back to the tube on the corners, like at an angle. This is just, again, mock up. We've already learned our engine mounts weren't necessarily the best height, so you know, sometimes this stuff is 2 steps forward and 1 step back, and sometimes it's 1 step forward and 3 steps back. So that looks pretty good there. Do you see it? Because I can't see it. Is it up here? Aha. There we go. I like it. Now we're square. We'll get that tacked. I'll move this 2x4 out of the way, or slide it back enough to where I can tack the tab to it. Alright, let's get this tube tacked. bracket tacked, and probably make a couple gussets for that tranny mount tab down to the tube, and call it for that. And double check this transmission square. I don't want no surprises. 2 7/8. 2 7. Hopefully, I won't kick the camera 4782 times more. I mean, here's the way I look at it. I don't know what cant is for myself. I've built cars with pig poles in a driveway to swapping an engine out in an oversized lawnmower shed in a Blazer. I mean, how bad do you want to do it? This is a single stall in a basement, and I'm building a tube chassis car. Like, you just got to want to do it. Get out there and do it. Now we'll probably jump back forward to the engine mount. I'll go ahead and make these little gussets for that transmission tab. Cut 2 inch by 2 inch. We'll grind this little cope in it to fit the tube, and we'll get them tacked on. Work. Tack that guy. Give her the old Orange County Choppers squint tack. We'll go ahead and put a stitch across the top of that plate. May not be Instagram worthy. Is it good enough for the gram? So basically, you guys get the idea. I have it jacked up a little bit right now. That's why there's a gap. But flat tab, 1/8 inch, um, 1/8 inch corner gussets. You get the idea. Simple transmission mount. All right, I'll get these fender mounts that we made last week cleaned back up so we can remake them again. Pretty good on your ears. Okay, I didn't want to film the same thing over again, so basically same thing as last time. Bolt up the plates, set the tubes up, grind them to fit, and tack them in. So this time, I put one to the bottom, and then up, and then obviously straight across. I want to get some up and down support on it too, keep it from flexing maybe as much, so you get the idea. Same thing on the other side. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for today's video. We got the transmission cross member mounted. We remade our engine mounts again for the second time, but that's why we tack everything together, because sometimes you have to change things, move things. So now I've got the engine and transmission sitting down lower in the chassis. I think it's going to work out good. We'll see you next week on the next video.